At 70, staying healthy isn't about doing more, it's about doing what matters most. And believe it or not, the right vitamins can make all the difference. Our bodies go through a lot over the years. We work hard, raise families, overcome challenges, and build lives full of memories. By the time we reach our 70s, we've earned a little extra help to keep everything running smoothly. That's where vitamins come in, not as a cure-all, but as quiet helpers behind the scenes, supporting the bones, brain, heart, and energy we rely on each day. You see, what worked in our 40s or even 50s may not be enough now. Our bodies don't absorb nutrients the same way they used to. Our skin, for example, produces far less vitamin D from the sun. Our stomachs have a harder time breaking down and using vitamin B12. And as surprising as it may sound, even a balanced diet doesn't always cover all the bases anymore. That's why understanding which vitamins are truly essential at this stage in life is one of the smartest things we can do for our health and independence. And here's something to think about. More than 40% of adults over 65 are low in at least one important nutrient. That's almost half of us walking around not getting everything we need to feel our best, and most of the time, we don't even realize it. Fatigue, brain fog, achy joints, poor balance. These things are often brushed off as just getting older, but sometimes, it's a missing vitamin working quietly in the background. Now, we're not talking about taking a cabinet full of pills. This isn't about trendy supplements or doing what everyone else is doing. This is about 3 specific vitamins, 3 that experts consistently say make a meaningful difference, especially after the age of 70. These are vitamins that support your strength, sharpen your thinking, and help you stay steady on your feet. They protect your heart, your bones, and even your ability to stay active and independent. By the end of this video, you'll not only know what those 3 vitamins are, you'll also understand exactly why they matter, how to recognize signs of deficiency, and most importantly, how to add them to your daily routine in a way that's simple, safe, and sustainable. No guesswork, no overwhelm, just clear, reliable guidance that respects your time and experience. There's a lot of confusing information out there, but the truth is, taking care of your health at 70 doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be focused. Before we begin, if you haven't already, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. That way, you'll never miss out on the essential insights we share to help you live a smarter, healthier, and happier life. And if you're already taking vitamins or have a routine that's working for you, we'd love to hear about it. Which vitamins do you take daily? Let us know in the comments below. You might help someone else discover exactly what they need. Let's get started. Number 1. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. Vitamin D is often called the sunshine vitamin, and for good reason. It's one of the most powerful tools your body has to stay strong and steady as you age. At 70 and beyond, this vitamin becomes more important than ever, because it affects 3 key areas that tend to weaken over time: your bones, your muscles, and your immune system. Let's start with the bones. Our skeleton is our foundation. Every step, every stretch, every movement depends on strong, healthy bones. But as we get older, bone density naturally decreases, especially for women after menopause. That's where vitamin D comes in. It helps the body absorb calcium properly, and without it, even a calcium-rich diet can't do much good. Low levels of vitamin D have been linked to a higher risk of fractures, and not just from major accidents. Simple missteps or stumbles can become dangerous if your bones are fragile. One fall can change everything, which is why keeping bones strong isn't just about comfort, it's about maintaining independence. Then there's muscle function. Many people are surprised to learn that vitamin D plays a role here too. It helps your muscles contract properly and improves balance and coordination. Seniors who get enough vitamin D are shown to have better posture, quicker reflexes, and even more stable walking patterns. It can mean the difference between reaching for something on the top shelf confidently, or feeling unsure and unsteady. Your immune system is also deeply connected to vitamin D. This vitamin supports the body's natural defenses, helping to reduce inflammation and respond to infections more effectively. If you find yourself catching colds often or taking longer than usual to recover, low vitamin D might be one of the culprits. Some studies even suggest that adequate levels may lower the risk of respiratory infections and improve overall resilience. Unfortunately, vitamin D deficiency is very common among older adults. Our skin produces vitamin D when exposed to the sun, but as we age, the skin becomes less efficient at doing that. Add in sunscreen, limited time outdoors, or colder climates, and it's easy to see how levels can drop without us even noticing. You might not feel anything right away, but over time, symptoms like fatigue, bone pain, or even low mood may start to show up, and they're often mistakenly chalked up to just getting older. Now let's talk about how to get enough vitamin D in a practical, everyday way. One of the simplest methods is natural sunlight. Just 15 to 20 minutes of sun exposure on your arms, hands, or face a few times a week can help, especially in the morning or early afternoon. But depending on where you live, the time of year, and your skin tone, that might not always be enough. That's why food plays a role too. You'll find vitamin D in fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Egg yolks have a bit as well, and certain foods like milk, orange juice, and cereal are often fortified with it. Still, even with a good diet, many seniors don't reach the recommended levels through food alone. Supplements can bridge the gap, especially if your doctor confirms a deficiency. When choosing a supplement, vitamin D3 is usually recommended over D2. It's the more active form and tends to absorb better in the body. These supplements come in various forms, from soft gels to drops, and are generally safe when taken as directed. Here's a helpful tip. Take your vitamin D with a meal that includes some fat. This helps your body absorb it more efficiently. A slice of avocado toast, some peanut butter on whole grain bread, or even a small portion of olive oil with vegetables can do the trick. It doesn't have to be a heavy meal, just something with a bit of healthy fat. Also, don't wait for symptoms to appear before getting your levels checked. Ask your doctor to include a vitamin D test in your next routine blood work. It's a simple test, and knowing your number can guide you toward the right supplement dose if needed. Everyone's needs are different, and it's always best to work with your healthcare provider to find the right approach. Some seniors find it helpful to combine their vitamin D routine with a bit of light exercise or time outdoors. A short walk after breakfast, a few stretches in the garden, or even sitting on a porch during daylight hours can boost both mood and mobility, making it easier to stick with a healthy routine. As one geriatric specialist recently noted, vitamin D is one of the most impactful yet underappreciated nutrients in senior health. It supports everything from muscle strength to mental clarity, and it's often the missing piece when seniors struggle with falls or fatigue. So while it may seem simple, vitamin D can play a major role in helping you stay upright, stay active, and stay protected. And when you take care of the basics, everything else becomes just a little bit easier. Number 2. Vitamin B12, the brain and nerve protector. Vitamin B12 is often called the brain and nerve protector, and for very good reason. At this stage in life, it's one of the most important vitamins you can pay attention to, not just because it helps you feel more energized, but because it directly supports how your brain works and how your nerves communicate throughout your body. It's easy to think of memory lapses, fatigue, or even numbness in the hands or feet as just signs of aging. But in many cases, these are signals that your body might not be getting enough B12. What's especially tricky about B12 deficiency is that it tends to sneak up slowly. For a long time, there might not be any clear symptoms, and by the time things like memory trouble or tingling in the extremities begin, your levels may already be quite low. Fortunately, with awareness and simple steps, it's one of the easiest deficiencies to correct, and in some cases, even reverse its effects. Vitamin B12 is vital for energy production, red blood cell formation, and neurological function. In plain terms, it helps carry oxygen through your blood, keeps your brain sharp, and protects the nerves that control movement and sensation. When your B12 levels are healthy, you feel more mentally alert, physically energized, and emotionally balanced. But when levels dip too low, it can leave you feeling foggy, tired, and off balance. After 60, the ability to absorb B12 naturally from food becomes more difficult. The stomach produces less acid over time, and that acid is necessary to separate B12 from the proteins in food. So even if you eat well, your body might still struggle to pull B12 from what you're consuming. That's why older adults are more likely to become deficient, even without changing their diet. So what should you look out for? The signs can be subtle at first. You might find it harder to concentrate, forget where you left things more often, or feel unusually drained during the day. Some people notice pins and needles sensations in their hands or feet, while others experience mood changes like irritability or mild depression. If left unchecked, a severe deficiency can even lead to balance issues or confusion, things that can easily be mistaken for dementia. Here's the encouraging part. B12 deficiency is highly treatable. Once identified, it's often just a matter of getting your levels back up with the right support. Animal products like meat, eggs, and dairy are natural sources of B12. But if you eat less meat or follow a plant-based diet, you'll want to make sure you're getting fortified foods like certain breakfast cereals or plant-based milks that have added B12. These can be helpful, but for many seniors, food alone might not be enough. That's where supplements come in. Sublingual tablets, which dissolve under the tongue, are a popular choice because they bypass the digestive system and are absorbed directly into the bloodstream. For those who need a more intensive boost, doctors may recommend B12 injections, which are often given once a month. These injections deliver a more concentrated dose and can be a game changer for people with significant deficiencies. One neurologist specializing in senior cognitive care explained it simply: low B12 can mimic dementia in older adults. But the difference is, when we catch it early and replenish those levels, the symptoms often improve. It's one of the most overlooked but reversible conditions we see in older patients. Getting tested is key. A simple blood test can reveal your B12 levels, and your doctor can guide you toward the right supplement plan if needed. If you've never had your B12 checked, or if it's been a few years, it's worth bringing up at your next appointment, especially if you're experiencing any of the symptoms we mentioned earlier. If you're already working on keeping your mind sharp through puzzles, crosswords, or learning new skills, pairing that with good B12 support can make a noticeable difference. Your brain thrives on stimulation, but it also needs the right nutrients to function at its best. Many seniors find that once their B12 levels are optimized, everyday things feel a little clearer. Conversations flow more easily, tasks don't feel as overwhelming. There's a lightness and alertness that returns, and it often leads to better mood and more motivation to stay active. And don't worry, this isn't about taking handfuls of pills or overhauling your diet. It's about one small, consistent habit that protects one of your most valuable assets, your brain. Whether it's a weekly supplement, a monthly injection, or simply including more B12-rich foods in your meals, the impact adds up. So while it may not always get the same attention as some of the flashier health trends, B12 quietly supports the things that truly matter: your memory, your energy, your sense of connection to the world around you. And when those are strong, you're not just getting through the day, you're living it fully. Number 3. Vitamin K2, the silent strengthener. Vitamin K, the second of, may not be the first nutrient that comes to mind when we think about staying healthy at 70, but it plays one of the most underappreciated roles in protecting both your heart and your bones. It's often referred to as the silent strengthener because it works quietly behind the scenes, guiding calcium where it belongs, into your bones and teeth, and keeping it away from places it shouldn't be, like your arteries. Many seniors are already familiar with calcium and vitamin D for bone health. You may even be taking supplements for both. But here's the surprising part. Without enough vitamin K2 in your system, that calcium can start to deposit in your blood vessels instead of your skeleton. Over time, this can lead to stiff arteries and an increased risk of cardiovascular issues, even if your calcium and vitamin D levels look perfectly fine on paper. That's why K2 is so important. It's like a traffic director for calcium, helping your body use it correctly and preventing it from causing harm. This becomes especially critical after 70, when arterial flexibility naturally decreases and bone density tends to decline. If you're making the effort to eat well and take care of your bones, you want those efforts to count. K2 ensures that calcium ends up reinforcing the structure of your body rather than slowly narrowing the blood vessels that keep your heart healthy. It's also worth noting that vitamin K2 works in tandem with vitamin D3. When you take vitamin D3, it boosts calcium absorption in the gut, but that calcium still needs guidance. That's where K2 steps in. It activates proteins that transport calcium to the right places and prevent it from accumulating in soft tissue. That's why many of the most effective supplements for bone and cardiovascular support now include both D3 and K2 in one formula. The two work better together than they do alone. Now, you might be wondering why K2 isn't talked about more often. The truth is, it's been overshadowed by other nutrients, partly because it's easy to confuse with vitamin K1, which helps with blood clotting. But K1 and K2 are not the same, and they don't perform the same functions. K1 is found mostly in leafy greens and focuses on clotting. K2, on the other hand, is what your bones and arteries rely on to handle calcium properly. This is why reading labels carefully matters. Many multivitamins only include K1, and it may not be enough for the bone and heart support you need. The best dietary source of K2 is natto, a fermented soy product popular in Japan. It's extremely rich in K2, particularly the MK7 form, which stays active in the body longer than other types. However, natto has a strong flavor and sticky texture that isn't for everyone. Luckily, you can also get smaller amounts of K2 from other foods, such as egg yolks, liver, and grass-fed dairy products like butter and cheese. These natural sources are a helpful start, but many older adults may still benefit from supplementation, especially if they've been on calcium or vitamin D for a while without seeing much improvement in bone strength. If you're choosing a supplement, look for the MK7 version of K2. It has a longer half-life in the body, which means it remains active for a full 24 hours or more, giving your system consistent support. This form is often combined with vitamin D3 in a single soft gel or tablet, making it easier to keep up with a daily routine. You don't need high doses, just the right balance over time. A leading cardiologist recently explained it like this: vitamin K2 is a game changer for aging adults. It protects arteries from calcifying and strengthens bones at the same time. When you combine it with D3, it creates a synergy that promotes long-term health in both areas where seniors need it most. And here's another useful tip: K2 works well when paired with omega-3 fatty acids. Omega-3s support the flexibility of your blood vessels and help reduce inflammation, which complements K2's role in calcium management. A simple routine that includes D3, K2, and omega-3s can form a strong foundation for both bone and heart health, without needing a shelf full of supplements. As you think about your own daily habits, it's a good time to check what kind of K is in your current vitamins, if any. If it's only K1 or not listed at all, you may be missing out on one of the most important nutrients for aging strong. And if you've already been told you have plaque buildup or bone loss, it's worth discussing K2 with your doctor. Sometimes the missing link isn't more calcium, it's making sure your body knows how to use it. At this stage in life, it's not just about doing more, it's about doing what makes the biggest difference. And vitamin K2, though quiet and often forgotten, is one of those difference makers. It works where you can't see it, but you'll feel the benefits in how you move, how you breathe, and how secure you feel knowing your bones and heart are being supported from the inside out. Now let's take a look at how you can easily add these key nutrients into your routine. Creating a simple, reliable routine is one of the easiest ways to stay consistent with your health goals, especially when it comes to supporting your body with the right vitamins. You don't need a complicated schedule or a cabinet full of bottles, just a few thoughtful steps that blend naturally into your day. When the routine feels smooth and manageable, it becomes second nature. Let's start with the morning. One of the best times to take your vitamin D3 and K2 is with breakfast. These vitamins are fat-soluble, which means they absorb better when paired with food, especially meals that include healthy fats. So if you're having a plate of eggs with whole grain toast or some yogurt with fruit and nuts, that's the perfect time to take your D3 and K2 combo. Many seniors find that putting their vitamins right next to the coffee maker or their breakfast dishes makes it easier to remember. It becomes part of that early rhythm, the same way brushing your teeth is. Then comes the afternoon, when it's helpful to include a meal that supports your energy and memory. Think of it as a midday boost, not just to refuel, but to nourish your mind. Foods rich in B12 like salmon, lean beef, eggs, or even a slice of fortified whole grain toast with avocado can give your body what it needs to keep your brain sharp. If you're vegetarian or eat less meat, consider incorporating fortified plant-based milk into your smoothies or cereal, or adding a B12 supplement into your afternoon routine. As the day winds down, try to work in a bit of gentle movement and sunlight if the weather allows. A short walk around the block before or after dinner can do wonders for circulation, digestion, and mood. Even 15 minutes outdoors gives your body a chance to naturally synthesize vitamin D, especially if your arms or face are exposed to the sun. And if going outside isn't an option, light stretching near a sunny window can still help you stay active and relaxed in the evening. Now let's talk about meal planning. Eating well doesn't have to be complicated, either. One go-to meal that checks multiple boxes is a salmon fillet served with sautéed leafy greens like spinach or kale and a side of sweet potatoes. This combination gives you vitamin D, omega-3s, B vitamins, and essential minerals all in one sitting. Another easy favorite is scrambled eggs with whole grain toast fortified with B12, topped with a slice of avocado or tomato for extra flavor and nutrition. If you enjoy cooking, making small adjustments to your favorite recipes can help incorporate more of the nutrients you need. But if cooking isn't something you love doing every day, meal prepping once or twice a week can be a big help. Prepping a few hard-boiled eggs, a batch of roasted vegetables, or even pre-portioned smoothies can take the pressure off during the week. For supplements, convenience and consistency matter. One of the most helpful tools is a weekly pill organizer. These little boxes may seem basic, but they reduce confusion and make it easy to see whether you've taken your vitamins for the day. Some even come with compartments for morning, noon, and night if you're managing multiple medications or supplements. Keeping it in a visible spot, on the kitchen counter, near your nightstand, or next to your TV remote, acts as a visual cue. Technology can lend a hand too. You can set a daily reminder on your phone, or even ask your smart speaker like Alexa or Google Assistant to nudge you at the same time each day. It only takes a few seconds to set up, but it saves you the mental load of trying to remember on your own. And there's one more tip that's often overlooked: accountability. If you have a spouse, a friend, or a neighbor who's also working on their health, consider teaming up. You can check in with each other, swap meal ideas, or even take your daily supplements at the same time as a small shared habit. It adds a layer of connection and encouragement, and makes staying on track a little more enjoyable. The goal here isn't perfection. It's about consistency and ease. By anchoring your vitamins and nutrition habits to the flow of your day, breakfast, lunch, evening movement, you create a foundation that supports your strength, your focus, and your long-term well-being. These small efforts, repeated daily, build the kind of resilience and health that lets you live life on your terms, full of energy, clarity, and confidence. These 3 vitamins may not sound exciting, but they're your secret to staying strong, sharp, and steady. They support the systems that often begin to weaken with age, and they do it quietly, every single day. It's not about magic cures or miracle pills. It's about giving your body exactly what it needs, consistently and thoughtfully, so it can keep working for you in all the ways that matter most, walking confidently, thinking clearly, and enjoying your days without unnecessary worry or fatigue. So as you think about your own routine, take a moment to reflect. Are you giving your body these essentials? Are there gaps you could fill easily with a supplement, a meal tweak, or a quick conversation with your doctor? Every small step counts, and the more we understand these vitamins, the better we can use them to stay well, not just for today, but for all the years ahead. What's your secret to staying strong and sharp as you age? Let's share and inspire each other. Your story might be just what someone else needs to hear. And if this video helped you understand your health a little better, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We post weekly tips to help you live smarter, healthier, and happier. No fluff, just real guidance for your golden years. You deserve to feel your best every day.